Okay. I'd like to get started, so if everybody could make their way to a seat, that'd be great. Awesome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Hassler. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum at the secondary level. On behalf of the Monroe-Berry School District, it's my honor to welcome you to the inaugural induction for the Monroe-Berry Hall of Distinction. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance recited by Zoe Iribor, our student representative of the board, to the Board of Education, and the national anthem sung by the members of the Monroe-Berry High School Voice Ensemble.
Please wait for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare among birds singing there gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're truly grateful to have our distinguished inductees, their families, friends, their nominators, colleagues, members of our community with us this evening to share in this very memorable event. I'd also like to welcome our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Tracy Norman, and his wife, Pamela Norman. Our cabinet is here: Dr. Bhargav V.S., Dr. Karen Morales, Mr. Chris Berger, Mr. Patrick Cahill. Welcome. They're here around the room as well. Welcome to our Board of Education members, President Caitlin Simmons, Vice President Suzanne Donahue, and Trustee Jeffrey Reynolds. Welcome. I'd also like to recognize the Monroe-Berry Hall of Distinction Executive Committee, which consists of myself, Carol Spenley, Tony Cardone, Lori Hawk, Stacy McCleary, Brian Wilson, and Chris Vero. They're also seated here. Thank you very much. You guys are the best. At this time, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Tracy Norman, our superintendent, to share a few words, please.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for that kind introduction. Before I begin, I feel that I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my predecessor, the former superintendent of schools, Elsie Rodriguez. On behalf of the Monroe-Berry Central School District, it is truly my honor to welcome you to this special evening. In this beautiful setting surrounded by people who care deeply about our community. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to welcome our I just said that, Elsa. Yes. I forgot you added that, Carol. But this evening is about honoring the people who laid the foundation of this remarkable district. It's about recognizing the leaders who dedicated their lives to shaping not just strong students, but strong people. And it's about celebrating those who continue to serve quietly, consistently, and with purpose, making a lasting difference in our schools, our community, and in the lives of so many. When we talk about what it means to be a crusader, there is no single image that defines it. The face of a crusader can be seen in a young child puzzling through a math problem for the first time. It can be found in a teacher who stays late, night after night. It can be seen in an athlete who trains with discipline and pride, in a musician perfecting their craft, or in a graduate who carries Monroe Woodbury values far beyond our campus. Each one of them, past and present, is a crusader. And together, we're part of something bigger. We're part of a crusader family, one built on commitment, perseverance, integrity, and care for one another. The individuals we honor tonight embody those values in extraordinary ways, and their stories remind us of why this district means so much to so many. To our honorees, thank you. Thank you for what you've given, for the path you've cleared, and for the example you continue to set. Your dedication ensures that the legacy of Monroe Woodbury does not simply endure, it thrives. You have inspired generations, and you continue to shine a light for the students who are just beginning their journeys. Congratulations to the truly deserving Monroe Woodbury Hall of Distinction class of 2025. Tonight, we celebrate you. Now, please join me in welcoming Ms. Caitlin Simmons, our Board of Ed President, who will now say a few words.
He's always such a hard act to follow. Good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. Welcome, members of our school community, honored inductees, distinguished guests, and my fellow board members. On behalf of the Monroe Woodbury Board of Education, I am truly honored to join you this evening for a very special and historic moment for our district. The idea of creating a Hall of Distinction has been thoughtfully discussed for many years, and it is incredibly meaningful to be here tonight as the vision becomes a reality. This event is the result of dedication, collaboration, and a deep pride in our Monroe Woodbury story. I'd like to take a moment to sincerely thank everyone who helped to bring this beautiful idea to life. Let's give them a big round of applause. When we talk about Monroe Woodbury, we often speak about what it means to have the heart of a crusader. The individuals we are honoring this evening truly embody that spirit. Through their character, accomplishments, and commitment to others, they represent the very best of who we are. Their impact reaches far beyond tonight, and their stories will continue to inspire students, families, and community members for generations through this Hall of Distinction. Together, we are one Crusader family, connected by shared values, deep pride, and a legacy rooted in hope, commitment, and compassion. Tonight, that legacy is not only remembered, but permanently honored, and we are grateful to celebrate it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This evening, you're going to hear many examples about the great legacies of Monroe Woodbury, but I would be remiss if I did not briefly acknowledge the present as well. This evening would not be possible without the amazing work and contributions of many outstanding people, including the following: A big thank you to Beth Rickley and our Family and Consumer Science Department staff and students who are responsible for the amazing hors d'oeuvres and desserts and hospitality this evening. A thank you to Jason Champlin and our music department staff and students who are responsible for the musical elements this evening. Thank you to Liz Pesh, our art department staff and students who are responsible for all the decorations and the centerpieces this evening. Thank you to Coaches Flugowski and Vero, our athletic department, who all are our hosts and ushers this evening, welcoming everybody into the event. Thank you. Finally, thank you to John Nowicki and the technology department and staff and students for designing and manufacturing all of the Hall of Distinction memorabilia on display throughout the facility this evening. Thank you. What's amazing about them is that I would not be shocked if we have a Michelin star chef or a professional musician or an elite graphic designer amongst us this evening who in years to come is going to be recognized at this event. So I think one more round of applause for our talented students. Thank you. In addition, thank you to the selection committee for volunteering their time to carefully review all of the nominations and for selecting the outstanding inductees that we'll be recognizing this evening. Thank you to the selection committee. Many of the members are here this evening. Thank you very much. If you've been in the high school within the last few years, you may have realized that this used to not be a full wall. It was a brick wall, much like this. A thank you to our Buildings and Grounds Department for the construction of the Hall of Distinction and for the Microcomputer Center for the technological support that they've offered in creating what we are about to reveal. Thank you very much. One last thank you. Thank you to the Curriculum and Instruction Office and for the Communications Department, particularly Carol Spenley. Where is Carol Spenley? Carol Spenley, who is the brains behind all of this. Thank you. So, if you'll indulge me for a brief moment on a little bit of history. On September 20th, 2023, Tony Cardone addressed the Board of Education and proposed the creation of a Hall of Fame. In response, we established an executive committee as well as a booster club whose financial support has made this initiative possible. I'll speak more about that later on. As we began our research for the creating of a Hall of Fame, we quickly recognized that the term Hall of Fame is often associated with athletics. While we're proud of our athletic programs, it was important to us that this recognition extend beyond athletics to reflect the many accomplishments we're celebrating here in Monroe-Woodbury. We also realized that in honoring our alumni, it was equally important to recognize the members of our district community who supported them. It was with those beliefs that ultimately shaped the structure of our Hall of Distinction and its two categories. A contributor, one of the categories, is someone who has been a supporter of the Monroe-Woodbury School District athletics, arts, and academic programs, and it includes administrators, faculty, staff, Board of Education members, coaches, assistant coaches, or community members who have served the school system for a minimum of 5 consecutive years, but is no longer active in the district. A distinguished alumni is a Monroe-Woodbury graduate of at least 5 years who has achieved notable success, made meaningful contributions to society, or brought honor to their alma mater through accomplishments in athletics, their profession, or humanitarian service. Nominations were submitted to the selection committee, who conducted a very thorough review of each nomination. There were 2 rounds of voting by the members of the committee, and finalists were ranked according to the results of each round of voting. If I could have Anna and Zoe come on up, please, that would be great. Part of the deliberation of the executive committee was also where to put the hall and how it would look. Ultimately, we felt that it should be in the most accessible location in our flagship school, a place worthy to present the many accomplishments of its outstanding members. And now, I present to you the Monroe-Woodbury Hall of Distinction.
So what you see here are interactive flat screen panels. This is also going to be linked to the district website, so you do not need to be physically present in the lobby of the high school in order to be able to see it. What you see here will also be the same image that's on the district website. It will allow you to be able to here we go. There we go. It's a touchscreen monitor. Each year, as we induct members into the Hall of Distinction, it will gradually catalog them by year of induction, and it will allow everyone to go through and scroll and select the individual, see an image of their headshot, as well as the great accomplishments that they've made for Monroe Woodbury. There's also links in here that show you about the history of the Hall of Distinction and the legacy that is included in it. So thank you very much. Next. Now the moment that you've been waiting for. I must admit that for me, I've been in the district a while, calling and notifying the inductees and their families has been a very, very bright highlight for me in my time in Monroe Woodbury. Quite honestly, in speaking with these individuals, I was quite starstruck. The executive committee felt that the best way to personalize these amazing individuals was to have those that know them well, their nominators, do the introductions. So what I'll be doing is I'll be calling up the nominator who will be doing the introduction, and then we'll hear a little bit from each of the inductees. Our first candidate, when I first notified this person that he was selected, his immediate response was he wanted to know who the people were that nominated him, right off the bat. To me, that was a true indication about the character of this individual. And here to speak on the legacy of Steve Fishbein is John Gartizer.
Welcome everyone tonight. I'm grateful to be here in front of all these amazing people, and I just want to say thank you to the Committee of Hall of Distinction who worked tirelessly to put such a great event together. To talk a little bit about Steve, Steve's a distinguished Monroe Woodbury alumnus, widely respected as a teacher, a coach, a colleague, and most importantly, a friend. As a wrestler at Monroe Woodbury, he earned a Section 9 championship and placed 4th in the New York State Wrestling Championships as a senior. His commitment to the sport and being an educator continued beyond graduation. He went on to wrestle at the University of Brockport while pursuing a degree in physical education. Upon returning to Monroe Woodbury as a teacher, Steve became the head wrestling coach at Monroe Woodbury. He transformed the program and established a lasting coaching legacy. Over 18 years, his impact on student athletes and the district was extraordinary. He coached 2 New York State championship teams in the year 2000 and 2014. He coached 43 Section 9 champions, 26 state medalists, 6 New York State finalists. His athletes include 8 Division I wrestlers, 6 which went on to compete in Division I national championships. Steve is also a member of the New York State and the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Steve's influence as an educator and coach exemplifies the very best of what it means to be a Crusader. It makes him a truly deserving recipient of this recognition and award. And Steve was my coach, he was my teacher, a mentor for me as a colleague here at Monroe Woodbury, and most importantly, just a great guy. Great friend to have to this day, and I'm really excited and grateful to be here and for everyone to see receive this award and hear a little bit about Steve. So without further ado, Steve Fishbein.
I just would like to thank the Eric and the Hall of Distinction Committee. I'm extremely honored and humbled. I was coming off the beach in sunny Florida, and I got a voicemail from Eric saying, "Can you give me a call?" I'm like, "Oh boy, what did I do?" Like, I haven't toured in a couple of years, so couldn't have been too bad. But and then he told me about the Hall of Distinction. I was like in shock, and
going in with people like Andy Grammer and John Trautman, I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like an amazing honor. So thank you very much, and thanks to everybody. So so I'd like to thank a couple of people that are present here tonight. First, my girlfriend Paula. This is the second time I brought her up in Florida in the month of February. The first was 2 years ago. Unfortunately, I was going through some medical treatment, and she was by my side, and everything worked out pretty good. And this is a much more pleasant occasion, so thank you very much. My wonderful family, Jody is a Wonder Woman. Through all the years that I was coaching and leaving my own family, my girls, my beautiful girls, and to spend time with other people's kids was extremely tough. And then when I was going through my battle of cancer, and I was going halfway across the country to get treated, and gone for months, she was trying not to get emotional, but she was the person that kept the ship afloat. So thank you so much for everything. I got two beautiful daughters that are here that are doing extremely well. I found out today my younger one, Julia, just passed her boards for occupational therapy. And my older one, Danielle, is engaged, and she is thriving as a speech pathologist. So I couldn't be luckier to have two outstanding daughters. So I wouldn't be here if I didn't surround myself with great people, and very fortunate to have great assistant coaches, and some of them are here today. First, Johnny, who came in. Johnny was part of my both of my state championship teams. In 2000, he was a state finalist and one of the best wrestlers in the state. And unfortunately, he hurt his knee his senior year, but was one of the best wrestlers I ever saw before the injury. And incredible. Everybody knows him around the state. And then he coached with me towards the latter part of my career, and was a valuable part of being my lead technician. And he's coached at the Olympic level with the women's freestyle team. He's done clinics for college. He's an amazing coach. So Johnny, thank you so much. Greg Chipperino's here. We've got a bunch of stories about Chip. I'll keep it brief. Where's Chip? Oh, he's back there. Chip and I were side by side, shoulder to shoulder when we started having our run for powerhouse teams. Our teams were, well, the 2000 was number one, and we had teams that were, in the top three in the state. And back then, I gave Chip all the technique on the top position. And when we were all, everybody was getting pins, everybody was like, "Oh, coach, you're doing a great job." No, I'm like, "No, it's Chip." So, Chip, thank you so much. And last but not least, my right-hand man in life as a coach is Scott Johanneman. Scott was incredibly invaluable to me, not only as a coach, but as a great friend. Whenever I was in any type of distress in my life, he was the first person I not walked to, but I ran to, and he was always had my back through my entire life. And when I was coaching, I'd sit in the corner with him, like, "Scott, what do you think about this?" And he'd say, "Well, we should do this." And I'm like, "You're 100% right." So, Scott, thank you so much for everything. Once again, I don't want to talk too much, so thank you, everybody. It's a great honor, and I love Monroe Woodbury. I love Monroe Woodbury, every aspect, from athletics to the arts. It's truly the best school in the state of New York.
Good job. So on to our next inductee. Unfortunately, if our ceremony was only a few months sooner, our next inductee may have been able to be with us to hear directly about the impact he has left on our district. He's greatly missed. Here to speak on the legacy of Ron Johnson is Nicole Cook.
This is going to be hard. Ron Johnson served on the Monroe Woodbury faculty from 1969 to 2004. And his legacy is still felt today through the many students who became teachers, parents, and leaders in this community. I was fortunate to know Ron as a dear friend, mentor, and confidant. I call him my North Star. He helped shape me not only as an educator, but as a person, and he is deeply missed. It is truly an honor to recognize him as an inaugural member of the Hall of Distinction. As head of the high school music department, Ron was so much more than a director. For countless students and colleagues, he was a safe space, a place where you were seen, heard, and valued. He believed in being genuine. He called you out if you weren't, in holding high standards and in lifting people up with honesty and unwavering support. Ron had a rare gift for listening and for knowing exactly what someone needed in the moment. He did that with the adults and with the students in his life. He helped generations of students find their voice and fall in love with music while teaching lessons about confidence, integrity, and authenticity that lasted a lifetime. His legacy lives on in thousands of voices, some who I've heard already sing tonight. Still strong, still true, and always singing in his honor. Here to accept this award on his behalf is his beautiful brother, John Johnson, and his lovely husband, Jim Julianell.
This isn't going to be easy. Give me a minute. Today marks the third month of Ron's passing. And it was as you know, it would be such a difficult time. But when I received Eric's call, I was elated. It gave me something else to think about. And I called my sister, Vicky. She's the rock. And I always said, she's the only sane one in the family. And it gave all of us something else to think about. Ron and I were together with education and music until we graduated from college, Ithaca College in 1969. And at that time, we thought, we better let's just go different ways. So, Walter, I can't think of the name now. Anyway, a representative from the school system came to Ithaca College and interviewed. Ron loved the interview, and then the director, or the person doing the interview, said, I hear you have a twin brother. Would he like to come in and interview as well? And we had made the decision that I would go someplace else. So I went to Kenmore, New York, near Buffalo, taught 1 year. It wasn't a good fit. Then I went 2 years to Massapequa, Long Island. And again, I'm a country boy. But during those 2 years that I was at Long Island, I would come up for weekends and spend time with Ron, meeting amazing people, Robin Burkhart, Nancy Lucier, and I could just go on and on. And the Brandinos, great parties at their houses. And I thought, I want to be here. Wasn't supposed to be that way. But I applied, and I got a job in 1972 at North Main, and I looked through this crowd of people, and I taught so many of these people. So many. And it was the best move that I could have made. Ron established himself first at what was the old Central Valley Elementary School. Then he came to the high school. Well, it didn't quite work out. Went back to elementary school.
Then he came back to the high school and developed a program that was hard to know. It was amazing. His ability to get that sound from
kids and to inspire them. And I was working in the middle school at that point. And I was dealing with the changing voice, and I was dealing with middle school students. And I always said, I got the 2 years of hell, and Ron got 4 years of heaven. But it was an amazing, I loved middle school. It was great. Elsie, people that I was able to teach there. I want to thank you. I want to thank Eric. I want to thank the committee. This has helped us so much. Thank you very much.
So when we talk about legacy, this next inductee is part of Ron's legacy. He definitely is one of the most recognizable graduates of Monroe Woodbury. Here to speak about the legacy of Andy Grammer is Jason Champlin.
Thank you. Since graduating in 2001, Andy's journey has taken him from the hallways of Central Valley to the global stage, all while embodying the resilience, creativity, and sense of community that define Monroe Woodbury. Andy's story is one of perseverance. Raised in a musical household, he refined his craft not through shortcuts, but by busking on the Santa Monica 3rd Street Promenade. His breakout song, Keep Your Head Up, became a chart-topping anthem of hope, soundtracking graduations, recoveries, and moments of quiet courage for people around the world. His music has consistently been a force for good. Don't Give Up on Me, featured in 5 Feet Apart, became a powerful beacon for the cystic fibrosis community, raising awareness and support through the Claire's Place Foundation. Through the Andy Grammer Foundation, Andy has donated more than $500,000 to music education in underfunded schools. Along the way, Andy has earned remarkable recognition as a multi-platinum singer-songwriter, Emmy winner, Billboard and iHeart Radio honoree, and a globally recognized voice for positivity and mental health. Yet, despite his success, Andy remains grounded. As a husband, a father of 2, and a tireless advocate for lifting up others, inducting Andy Grammer into the Hall of Fame, a Hall of Distinction, is not about celebrating fame. It is about honoring how he has used his platform for good. His name on this wall will remind every future graduate that with authenticity, conviction, and hard work, it is possible to achieve great success. Unfortunately, Andy was unable to be here this evening. However, he did share this message that he has asked that we pass along.
What's going on, Monroe Woodbury? Andy Grammer here. I am honored to be a member of the Hall of Distinction. I have very fond memories. It was like a crucial place for me to learn. I learned incredible music. I was in the band. I was on the basketball team. I did a little theater thing. I was in the Music Man. And I just had so many incredible teachers and community members and friends. And I hold it deeply in my heart. I talk about it as often as I can. So thank you guys for honoring me and for everyone else being honored. And Crusader for Life. Crusader for Life. I love you all. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep growing. I love you guys.
So after we publicly announced the names of the inductees, I bumped into someone who had this next inductee as a science teacher. And he shared with me how he still remembers to this day the excitement that this great educator instilled in him in the coming of Halley's Comet in the mid-1980s, 40 years ago. Here to speak on the legacy of Anthony Sorrentino is his son, John.
Of a remarkable 35-year career, Dr. Sorrentino served the district as a teacher, coach, administrator, and active community member, leaving a lasting legacy on generations of students and colleagues as well. Dr. Sorrentino began his career in 1965 as an 8th grade earth science teacher. He chose to live in the community he served and was known for starting from the start for his extraordinary dedication, often staying late to support students who needed extra help. His passion for teaching led him to develop much of the district's earth science curriculum. And as his son, I remember many nights where he was down at his desk putting stencils together and making different lesson plans. This also led him to get a master's degree and finally a doctorate in earth science, one of the very few teachers who made it that far. A natural coach and mentor, Dr. Sorrentino also coached varsity basketball as well as junior high football, teaching students teamwork and perseverance. He brought learning. He traveled the country, visiting many natural parks and sharing what he learned with the geological wonders of which he saw. He organized telescope observation nights so students could see the wonders of the universe and even authored a guide on local geologic features. Many students have fond memories of seeing the rings of Saturn or the moons of Jupiter at these sessions too. In the 1980s, he became a pioneer in education technology, serving as the district's first director of computer instruction, while continuing to teach and lead the adult education program. In retirement, when he remained a lifelong learner and authored several textbooks, and has led a life exemplifying the very best of Mud Woodbury by lifelong learning. And before I call him up, I would like to call my mother and my brother and sister up here. Okay. With that, on behalf of your family, I present you with this award. You've earned it.
Thank you. I was told by a very bright man, never talk longer than the weakest kidney in the group. So I'm going to try to keep it short. When I first wrote this, it was 5 pages long. I got it down to 1. I am truly overwhelmed and honored to be here tonight. Probably the only thing I'm more proud of than this moment is my family, who you just met. Let me introduce them again, because it's and my wife of 62 years we're married. She was an excellent teacher in Monroe Woodbury for 25 years, and a very happy teacher, too. She made me say that. She was outstanding as an elementary teacher. Oh, I also have 3 children, John, Stephen, and Angela, and you met those, all graduates of Monroe Woodbury, and they are academically accomplished, and I am very, very proud of them. They were involved with many of the activities at Monroe Woodbury, and I was sports and politics and all that stuff in terms of Monroe Woodbury. In fact, we all had MW on our forehead. Also, as a graduate, also here tonight, I should mention, is Mary Suzanne, the wife of John, and Debbie Marina, who's with my son Stephen, and Angela, of course, and my two granddaughters, Ann and Sydney. Ann and Sydney, stand up, please. I consider myself a historian of Monroe Woodbury. I came to Monroe Woodbury after teaching 2 years in Rockland County in 1965. There was no superintendent at that time. There was a supervising principal. Charlie Davis was his name. But there was a county superintendent, Amy Bull Christ. Just a short story in terms of Amy Bull. She introduced me, all the new teachers, the first year I was here. The second year I was walking down the hall and passing her, and she said, "Oh, excuse me, Tony, how was your first year?" I was amazed, absolutely amazed at her memory and being able to talk about me personally my first year. I was hired by Charlie Davis and Dick Mooney. They hired me for the junior high school, which, by the way, was in North Main Street building. Also in the building, beside the 7th and 8th grade, was the 1st and 2nd grade. Not the whole district, just the North Main Street end of the district. Today, after 35 years at Monroe Woodbury and 25 years retired, I still remember the names and faces of almost everybody I started teaching with. I can name names like Lois Daly, Joe Figlamani. When you're sleeping at night and you put your head down on the pillow, you could see all these people again, especially this is the opportunity for me to go through that again. Much like a movie on fast forward, my mind has relived my time at Monroe Woodbury. What a thrill it is to view the past and visit old friends one more time. Time is precious, and I thank Monroe Woodbury today for helping me remember my life under their roof. I appreciate and enjoy every day I was there. I can remember walking out of my classroom night after night at an ungodly time and looking back into my room and reliving the memories of the day. I appreciate everything Monroe Woodbury has done for me, and I say thank you to you all. Thank you.
Great. There's an ancient proverb that says, "A parent's true measure is found in the lives of their children." Having known the family of this next inductee for many, many years, I can say that in his case, this could not be more true. Here to speak on the legacy of John Huber is our former superintendent. Please welcome back a legend of our own right, Elsie Rodriguez.
They always did this to me. No, just don't do it again. I had the privilege of working alongside John during his years as president of the Monroe Woodbury Board of Education, while I served as superintendent of schools. In every role, John embodied the very qualities this honor represents: integrity, leadership, a tireless work ethic, and a sense of humor that inspired all who worked with him. Over 15 years of service on the board, including 7 as president, John's leadership was defined not by authority, but by collaboration and a deep commitment to doing what was right for kids. He approached every decision with honesty, transparency, and fairness, earning the respect of his colleagues, administrators, and the community at large. Under his guidance, the board engaged in thoughtful policy work that strengthened the district for years to come. John led with an unwavering integrity and by example. His presence commanded attention, but his warmth, wit, and genuine humanity that brought people together and reminded us that great leadership is rooted in connection. On a personal note, John made me a better superintendent, never hesitating to challenge ideas, always with respect and always with students' best interests at heart. John's devotion to Monroe Woodbury was truly a family commitment. His wife, Betsy, and a longtime district employee shared his passion for education, and together they raised two beautiful daughters, Eliza and Madeline, proud Monroe Woodbury graduates. An accomplished artist and educator, John brought creativity, intellect, and compassion to everything he did, leaving a lasting imprint on the district and community. John Hubert was, in every sense, a man of distinction, and it is fitting and heartfelt honor to recognize him for the Monroe Woodbury Hall of Distinction. It is my pleasure to welcome John's wife, Betsy, and his daughter, Eliza, up to the podium to accept this award on his behalf.
So many decades, and the rewards, personally, professionally, spiritually, and just as part of the human race, has been outstanding and has carried all of us through all these years, good times and bad times. And there's nothing more I can say but thank you for this wonderful gift of being part of such a wonderful, wonderful place to live and learn and grow and just have strength.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to the committee members for nominating John, and congratulations to the well-deserved inductees. As you just learned, I'm Eliza. And as John would describe me, his favorite eldest daughter, and am speaking on his behalf. And for those who knew my dad well, if my dad were up here, I'm sure you can picture him making some sort of self-deprecating quip about how you all have the wrong John and what's wrong with you all. But then he'd proceed to say how incredibly flattered and humbled he'd be by this recognition. And since I have my father's genes, for better or for worse, it's usually worse, I decided to follow my father's footsteps and begin with a wisecrack myself. But now that I did that, onto earnestness. Like other inductees, my dad certainly didn't spend his time and energy toward Monroe Woodbury for the purpose of any accreditation or praise. He did it because he sincerely cared about the students and their education. What he wanted for them was opportunity. He believed that educational institutions should offer stimulating courses and work to ensure that any student who wanted to reach their full potential had the opportunity to do so. He pushed for AP classes to be accessible to all, and that it shouldn't just be for those whose grades might reflect accelerated courses, but for any student who wants the opportunity to try. He never wanted to restrict, only expand. Additionally, he was a strong proponent of giving administrators, teachers, and staff the opportunity to do their jobs without the Board of Ed dictating how their work should be carried out. He believed the role of the board was to support and not micromanage the professionals in the school. As a teacher himself, he understood the value of trust, professional expertise, and providing educators with the opportunity to make informed decisions in the students' best interest. And that belief in creating opportunity was not just a philosophy he spoke about, it was something he lived out in real and tangible ways. For instance, during my junior year here, the head of the drama department, Stacy Hintz, was on maternity leave, so my classmates and I were left without a director for the fall play. Without one, the production wasn't going to happen until my dad stepped in, giving us not just a play, but the opportunity to perform and be seen. His commitment to the school district probably wasn't really noticed by the students. They saw him give a speech on the day of their graduation, but students have other concerns and interests on that day, which I get, it's understandably so. But they were on his mind all year round. And the only time I can think of where he stepped out from the Board of Ed shadows was when he seized his opportunity to personally hand me and my sister's high school diplomas. I'm so grateful he did that because my sister and I will remember that for the rest of our lives. So as John's favorite eldest daughter, he's my favorite biological dad. I've always been so incredibly proud of his dedication to bettering his community, and it means so much to see that dedication honored. Thank you again.
Continuing with the theme of legacy, this next inductee has created and continues
To create a legacy in many facets within our district.
This one hits close to home for me as he has impacted both myself and, more importantly, my family in numerous ways. Here to speak on the legacy of Lou Hall is Matt Henner.
Good evening, everyone. As a proud 1995 Monroe alumnus, I can say without hesitation that Coach Hall has had a profound impact on my life, not only during a time as an athlete on his teams, but also in my time as the coach that I've become. Like many of the inductees, Coach Hall came to Monroe in 1967 as a physical education teacher. He immediately took over the boys cross-country program and eventually established the girls cross-country program in 1974. After a tenure of successful boys basketball coaching, leading multiple county championships, Coach retired his whistle in 1979 and began the tryout, which would happen for the rest of his career. Cross country in the fall, winter track in the winter, and spring track in the spring. He impacted countless athletes. Yes, there were county titles, sectionals, and states and national championships, but he treated each of his athletes the same way. He instilled in us integral life skills about work ethic, competitiveness, and overcoming adversity. If you walk into any Monterey High School reunion, you'd be hard-pressed to find one person in the room who has not been directly impacted by Coach Hall. When my father unexpectedly passed in 1996, a steady stream of mourners came to pay their respects. I would have a hard time telling you what many of them said, all but one. I remember Coach immediately pulling me into an embrace and whispering into my ear like he had done for many races in my career. I remember the words nearly 30 years later: stay strong, take care of your mom. Lou Hall didn't just coach sport, he coached life. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here tonight, but please join me in welcoming his son, David, as he would like to say some words in his dad's honor.
I hope you all don't mind. If you've met any of us, you know we do not need this. And the podium is actually for my dad. It's not for me. I'm here for him. He couldn't be with us here tonight. But he would say that being a teacher and a coach is about relationships. And a testament to him is two of his former runners are here. The relationships that he had with everybody that he coached. And that the beauty of being here at Monroe was the fact that he only had to worry about that. Just go coach, Lou. Just go coach. And that was great. And he was here tonight. He would say to his wife of 55 years plus, honey, thank you for letting me do it all. Thank you.
Dave is 100% correct, because part of Lou's legacy extends well into our next inductee.
This next inductee's impact on the entire MW running community is legendary. Someone recently shared with me that he
Still holds the record at Saratoga State Park from 1984 with a time of 14 minutes 35 seconds, which is a 4:42 mile pace. Crazy. I shared with him earlier that my son volunteered to perform tonight, mainly because he secretly wanted to come just to meet the next inductee. Here to speak on the legacy of John Troutman is Matt Hummer.
I'm back. It is with great pleasure this time, and purple pride, as the current head coach for the boys cross country and track and field programs, that I recognize John Troutman, the class of 1986, as an inductee into the inaugural class at the Monterey Hall of Distinction. John was a transcendent runner who competed at the varsity level for Monroe from 1982 until he graduated in 1986. During his tenure, he was a dominant figure on the course and track, excelling in distance events. John was a multi-time county, section, and state champion. An athlete of his talent had never been seen at Monroe before. He rewrote not only the Monroe-Woodbury record books, but also state and national record books. At the 1986 Penn Relay Carnival, John put out an epic display, winning the prestigious high school 3,000-meter run. In doing so, he broke the national record previously held by American distance running legend Steve Prefontaine. John continued his journey as for Monroe as a standout runner at Georgetown University. 1 year after his Prefontaine setting record, he got with teammates at Georgetown and competed in the 1987 Penn Relays, and this time broke a national record and world record in the distance medley relay. He went on to also win an NCAA championship in the 5,000-meter run. In June of 1992, in New Orleans, Louisiana, John won the United States Olympic trials in the 5,000-meter run and went on to represent the United States at the 1992 Barcelona Summer Olympics. After some time on Wall Street, John reconnected with his college coach in the early 2010s. With rejuvenated confidence, John began training again, this time to a new level, breaking an indoor 1 mile run world record for the age group for men of 45 to 50 years of age. He clocked an incredible time at the age 46-ish of 4 minutes, 12.33 seconds. John currently works as an assistant coach at New York University. This past fall, he helped guide the NYU women's cross country team to the NCAA Division III National Championship. He also coaches professionally for the Empire Elite Track Club. He is a member of the Penn Relays Wall of Fame, the Georgetown Athletics Hall of Fame, and the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. Please join me on congratulating John and welcoming him to his latest enshrinement as a member of the Monterey Hall of Distinction.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Eric, thanks for inviting me. I'm sorry it was so hard to get in touch with. And just want to thank the committee, for this. This is wonderful. I'm really honored to be here, not just that it's the first year of the Hall of Distinction, but that I really have a connection to almost everyone that's going in. I mean, it's amazing. We have Doc Sorrentino, who was my earth science teacher. I'll get that dolomite and that quartz in by Monday. Don't worry about it. Noreen Farrell, who's doing amazing work in equal rights. She's my teammate. Steve Fishbein, he was my neighbor. We used to play football, basketball back before we were at Monroe Woodbury. And obviously Lou Hall, who I wish he was here tonight. Geez, that would have been awesome. But, Lou Hall, the whole reason I'm here tonight is because of Lou Hall. I mean, I just wish he was here. I used to, and I still get a little embarrassed at these things about, I was lucky enough to pick my parents right, good genes, but Lou, or Coach Hall, sorry, taught me back, in the day that, a lot of people have talent. You have a little more talent than most people, but the key is to be able to work hard. And that's what he really taught me, was the value of, just hard work and, just really, one day after the next, just being consistent. And sometimes I'd win a race, and, actually one time at Yale, that I won the Yale 3,000 meters, the Yale Invitational, and I let a kid pass me on the last lap, and I passed him back. But I'd never seen Coach Hall that upset with me. Like, I mean, literally he was poking me in the chest, and my mom was there, and she was pissed at him because he actually knocked me over. But, you know, it wasn't about winning with him. It was about the way you raced, you know, if you got the most out of yourself. And you know, it's the reason I'm the athlete I was, or I was the athlete I was, and the reason I'm coaching today is because of him. And also forgot to mention Ron Johnson. I was talking to Don about the songs we used to, you know, the songs that he taught us back in elementary, and I have those songs going through my head to this day. I mean, really, they're all going through my head. It's amazing, on runs and whatever. But again, I thank you to everyone, and you know, it's an honor. Thanks.
So Coach Hall's legacy continues to extend into our final inductee. While she was an exceptional runner during her time at MW, her legacy extends well beyond the athletic competition. Here to speak on the legacy of Noreen Farrell is her sister, Sue Adler.
Well, like John, I'm looking around. I've been a lifelong Crusader, you know, for a long time, a lifelong, obviously. And I feel like every one of the inductees has touched my life a little bit. So it's kind of amazing. And you'll see it's pretty fitting, though, that my sister is the only female inductee tonight. That's the way she does it. Yep. So, all right. It is my honor to recognize my sister Noreen, a 1987 graduate of Monroe Woodbury High School, and a proud product of North Main Elementary School, Monroe Woodbury Middle School, and of course, Monroe Woodbury High School. During her time at Monroe Woodbury, Noreen distinguished herself as a state champion runner, a 4-year student government representative, a musician, a member of the National Honor Society, and an active participant in countless extracurricular activities. That was rough being her little sister, wouldn't you think? After graduating from Monroe Woodbury, Noreen earned her undergraduate degree from Yale University and her law degree from UC Hastings in California, now called the University of California College of Law, San Francisco, where she served as the editor of the Women's Law Journal and received multiple honors. Noreen went on to build an extraordinary career in the nonprofit sector, championing women's civil rights. She is a nationally recognized leader in justice and an expert in law policy and culture change. She currently serves as the executive director of Equal Rights Advocates and serves as a national legal nonprofit advancing gender, racial, and economic justice, and as president and CEO of the Equal Rights Advocates Action Fund. As a civil rights litigator, Noreen has represented thousands of women and girls in landmark cases addressing sex discrimination in education and the workplace, even before the U.S. Supreme Court. She has led campaigns that have passed the nation's first paid family leave law and some of the strongest laws, I'm telling you. It wasn't easy in high school, it's not, but it's wonderful. I'm just joking, Noreen. And there's addressing wage inequality, gender-based violence, and caregiver discrimination. She continues to drive reform at the state level and helps replicate those successes nationwide. Noreen has also founded and co-chairs the National Equal Pay Today campaign, partnering with more than 60 organizations to close the gender wage gap, especially for women of color and low-wage workers. In our family and in our world, my sister is a true crusader. Oh, I didn't know this was going to happen, sorry. An exceptional representative of Monroe Woodbury. She embodies the spirit, determination, and leadership this award celebrates. So congratulations to my sister, my role model, and my best friend, Noreen, on this well-deserved recognition.
First, I really want to thank the entire Monroe Woodbury community for tonight. Unbelievable. The appetizers, the music, the amazing students who are greeting us, Eric, who stalked me. I was like, who's this guy? I felt like you, John. I was like, did I do something wrong or was it you? What a really special night. And I love that it's all digitized. It's just, I'm from the 80s, so I'm going to put my glasses on. You understand. I really want to thank everyone for this and for the incredible hype crew who nominated me. My sister, Kelly. I have my entire family here too. It's called like the Farrell Monroe Woodbury Mafia. I've got my amazing mom, Lolly, who sacrificed a lot. This might resonate with you. Sacrificed a lot to leave the Bronx with her then 4 kids. Was it 5 at that point? To come and be in the country. This was literally the country. I was like, what's up with all the crickets all night? So we had a better life. So we came to a school like this. I have my sisters, my other sister here, Peggy, my cousin Margaret, my niece who is also a teacher here, my brother Tim, my cousin. All right, we've got a lot of people here. I might have you come up later, but I'm recognizing your comment about kidneys and bladders and stuff, so I want to be careful. I also want to, where's the live stream? My kids and my husband are in San Francisco. Hi, Mike. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Ruby. Where is it? I'm always finding the camera. I also really want to congratulate all of the other honorees here tonight with a special shout out to my buddies from the 80s era, John, what a talent, and Coach Hall. And since he's not here, I guess we will talk about him. Hopefully he's hearing us on the live stream. He pushed me and some of my best urban friends who are actually here tonight, Linda, Melissa, and Kelly. I think he pushed us so hard as runners. And once he told me why, and he said that there was an amazing young woman who came before us. Her name was Diana Halpin in the 70s. And he admits that it was Diana who taught him that girls are just as fierce as boys on the track and off. And that story struck me, not only because gender equity is my jam, that's what I do with my life's work, but it stayed with me because, and this is for all the young people that are in the room, it was the first time that an adult told me that young people actually have the power to change how adults perceive the world. And I think that's a really powerful lesson, right? And how we should listen and learn across generations. And I think it should inspire all of us to lift up the leadership and perspective of young people in these halls in our lives. I still don't think it was legal that Coach Hall had us run up Route 6 against traffic for 11 miles, but I wasn't a lawyer then, and I couldn't protest that. I want to say this. I do the work that I do as a civil rights lawyer in the justice movement because I really believe that every person in this country deserves the incredible opportunities and support that I had. I think everyone deserves a great education, and that really opened doors to college for our generation, to feel safe enough to learn and go to work, including hard women immigrants who contribute so much to this community. I think that people like my mother, who became a widow, supporting 5 kids, they deserve a living wage, and they deserve health insurance. And I think everyone deserves a chance to be fierce and pursue excellence. They deserve a community that lifts them up and doesn't tear them down. And so I intend to see this through because, fun fact, for as long as it takes, I got the incredibly exciting, she says sarcastically, award senior year as being most reliable. It's taken me 30 years to really see that as being cool. But tonight really means a lot for me because it gives me a chance to thank the community that always lifted me up. I really, the support that came from my friends who are here tonight, who ran with me for hundreds of miles across 4 years, and who are still cheering me on. Shout out. And it came from the amazing coaches and teachers who introduced me to big challenges and ideas and great songs, Mr. Johnson. I probably spent as much time in the choir room as I did on the track. People don't know that. And it continues to come every day from my incredible family, who have been students and teachers and really critical to, I think, the fabric of Monroe Woodbury for 50 years. Thinking about that. So I really want to thank all of them that are in the room tonight. And I really want to thank all of you in this room who are we're supporting our loved ones, and we're supporting this really special community. So as far as I'm concerned, this community is number one on this Hall of Distinction list. So later, grab an extra glass of the Crusader Punch? Oh, Crunch. I did have wine in here, sorry, I forgot. And give yourself a toast, because I think really great things happen when we take care of each other as a community. So thank you for tonight for this distinction. It means a lot.
What an outstanding group of people. I mean, one more round of applause. Absolutely outstanding.
I have just a few other quick thank yous. Thank you once again. The executive committee has worked really, really hard at the planning of all of this event. So one more round of applause for the executive committee. Thank you so much. Also, part of that executive committee is our Booster Club. This is all made possible by the fundraising of the Booster Club. So thank you very much to everybody who donated. We appreciate so much the support of this. Particularly, thank you so much. Football Boosters is our legacy donor, so thank you very much to them. Please follow us on Facebook. We just got our Facebook page up and running, so we hope that you all will follow us and share the love and get it out there. We appreciate that. Speaking of fundraising, there's going to be a dinner at the captain's table on May 11th. You are all invited. Details are going to follow. We're going to get that information out very soon. Also, please be on the lookout. The next round of nominations for the class of 2026 will be opening up probably end of March, beginning of April. We plan on announcing the next group of inductees before the end of the school year. The official cycle of the Hall of Distinction will be spring nominations, fall induction. The induction ceremony, the next induction ceremony will be in October of 2026. So I encourage everybody to please be on the lookout. There's a lot of great, amazing people who I think should be recognized in our community. So please be on the lookout for that. Again, congratulations to everybody. The Family and Consumers, oh, yep.
Can we ask our class of 2025 to meet us in there in front of the backdrop for a picture before you all leave, please?
There you go. So please do not sneak out, class of 2025. Mr. Dimmitt would like to get, I think also, did somebody share with me you were
We're also looking for like MW grads. Somebody said to me maybe if like MW grads could get together to get in there for a picture. I believe that was also a request. So a lot of requests for that. There is dessert also by our Family and Consumer Science Department. So I encourage you all to stick around, take pictures. Thank you so much. You're all amazing. I appreciate it. Great job.